Thank you very much, Carlos. Your Excellencies, I'm sure Carlos and Lucia has a reason for wanting me to speak first, maybe as the co-lead along with Romania for this thematic action track. I want to thank you for giving Nigeria this opportunity. And to say it's my pleasure to be here. And presently in Nigeria, we are looking at three critical issues that bother us in terms of our education system and challenges. First, we're looking at the large and growing population of youths. We're also looking at shifting education from what the world is trying to do from schooling to learning. And finally, we want to ensure that whatever form of education we are into now will be not only relevant for the 21st century, but lay the basis for further growth in education. Like we all know, Nigeria is a very large country. We have a population of about 200 billion plus counting. Of that population, the demographics show a lot of youthful population. And within that youthful population, we have also a large population of children between the school growing ages. And as it is today, we have about 10.2 million children that are out of school basically for basic level, and there are statistics that goes to show we have about 8.1 more for the junior secondary school cadre. So this population growth is being threatened by inadequate number of teachers. We have about 1.3 million teachers. So if you want to compare global standards of number of teachers to pupils in the classroom, you see that there's a challenge there. But we're not sitting down, we are doing things to improve the number of teachers. And one of the things we've done is that we've revived our education policy to increase the number of age for retirement for teachers. Before, by 60, you should be retired or after spending 35 years of service. But now, you can spend 40 years in service or you get to the age of 65 before you can retire. That makes sure that we retain crop of teachers to push the education further. And besides that too, we are looking at encouraging people to remain in the teaching profession. We heard Licia say one of the points she pointed out that teachers are not well paid. We are looking at improving their payments, their salaries. We are also looking at giving incentives for people to want to go into the teaching profession by encouraging teaching at the tertiary level so that you have more people wanting to go into education. So that way we have more qualified teachers to deal with the issue of qualification. Equally important is the fact that we are looking for effective means to put children back in school and keep them in school. We all know areas of issues related to conflict and all. So we are mobilizing communities. We are doing cash transfer programs to keep people in school. We have a homegrown school feeding program that helps to keep children in school for a longer of time. We've got support from UNICEF and Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office to do this. A credible and alternative learning system too is what we are looking at. One thing that the COVID-19 has taught the world is that teaching has to be blended. And in looking at blended, we are not seeing a brick and mortar schooling system anymore. We are looking at situations where digital learning is becoming a means of teaching and improving teachers to be able to do that. And we are taking teaching not only the standard form, we are making community people teachers too. So that will help us to deal with that issue of course, we have some recent upsurge in attacks on schools, making schools to close down beside the COVID-19 crisis. Most significantly, in dealing with this population, we realize that we need teachers that are very fluent in play own earning in the early years of education, who can deliver structured pedagogy to build foundational skills. It is a steep ask actually, but it's something we are doing so that we remove repetition and memorialization out of school systems so that we have moved from just remembering, understanding, and going further from understanding to analyzing. And that is what I think the teaching transformation of education systems work. So we are implementing. Thank you very much once again, Carlos, and Your Excellencies. Yes, we did, and just to say that we thought we'll have an opportunity to actually present the outcome yesterday, but we missed out on that. We, prior to the national consultation that held on the 9th of June, the national convener have been holding regional, local level consultations. So the national consultations was an aggregation of what happened. And at that national level, we had over 200 participants drawn from all sectors. Most importantly, we included the youths. Even before the national consultation, there was a pool-in of 100,000 plus youths. And what we're seeking to know from that poll is, what do you think a transformed education systems to look like? What are the challenges? So the things that came out from that consultation process is that looked at all the 5 thematic tracks, beginning from inclusive, equitable, safe, and healthy schools to financing, is what we have in our national consultation. But specific to teachers and teaching, what it brought out was that in identifying those challenges, I wish I had enumerated earlier, it sought to bring out what do we do to address these critical challenges. And to answer your 3 quick questions, one is that it is critical we pursue and sustain the new teachers policy, which I had mentioned earlier that it's going to help in bringing teaching profession to the place that it should be and encourage entrance, retain, and sustain them. The second is that we must institutionalize fully developed teacher education program, skills improvement, capacity development, and post in-service training. And lastly, we must sustain and improve the motivation schemes and supports and welfare through the professionalization of the teaching profession, because the underlying premise of the national consultation and Nigeria's transformation education system is that education is not a means to an end. It's not a means to only earning salaries, but it's a means to all ends. Whatever you want to do, education is a means to all ends. So that is what has been pushing. And I would like to leave us with this sentence that every day we come across every corner of the earth, teachers and make huge sacrifices to protect the well-being of their students and to do their best to deliver quality education under very difficult circumstances. We must do all that is in our power to celebrate